Good morning, boys and girls. I'm your friend Captain America. Woo! Today's lesson is sponsored by DC, Marvel, and Betsy Ross. And last but not least, Adam's Flying Pig Coffee Shop. All right. For the English 2 today, I did my Captain America thing, and I've discovered that the Steve Austin voice hurts a lot more than the Ric Flair voice. So I've had a couple problems making this video that I'm about to make for you. Again, this is about my second or third try. This is Jordan Peterson talking about responsibility. And here's what I want you to do. Watch this video, answer some questions, and then we're going to go through an article together, and you're going to answer some questions on that. Turn it in by midnight tonight. Get your essays in by Monday. Here we go.
Struggle is going on right now. I've been talking to a bunch of them, and I said, well, look, one of the things you can do for young people that no one's doing is to talk to them about responsibility. Because everyone talks to young people about rights. It's like, we need our rights. It's like, oh, God, how many rights do you need? You know, really, like you have more privileges than any people who've ever lived anywhere. Well, it's so dull to hear. It's so dull. It's so pathetic and what would you call it? It's so demeaning that you have to be protected and have your rights. It's like I said, there's a huge marketplace for responsibility. That's what you want to...
Okay, he says, before he says there's a huge marketplace for responsibility, he criticizes the excessive emphasis on rights and implies that it leads to people getting coddled. So my first question is, could that be connected to the BLM article that we read from earlier this week? Is the excessive emphasis on rights and the excessive de-emphasis on responsibility responsible to some of the things we see in that document and today? And then for your second question, what's your view on whether young people haven't been encouraged to cultivate responsibility enough? And that'll be the subject of his next discussion. Here we go.
Protected and have your rights. It's like I said, there's a huge marketplace for responsibility. That's what you want to talk to young people about. It's like, get your act together and do something worthwhile with your life. For the first time in my entire adult life, the conservatives actually have something to sell young people, right? They can sell them responsibility. It's like, well, why? Because that's where life has meaning with responsibility. The more responsibility you take on, the more meaning your life has. And the higher degree of responsibility that you agree voluntarily to try to bear, the richer your life will be.
Do you agree with that? Yes or no? And where have you seen that in your life? That the more responsibility you take on, the more meaning your life accrues. Okay? And take a look at this last quote.
The higher degree of responsibility that you agree voluntarily to try to bear, the richer your life will be.
Do you agree with that, yes or no? And where can you provide evidence that the higher the degree of responsibility you voluntarily assume for yourself, the richer your life becomes, not in wealth, but in meaning? Defend that, refute that, or qualify that, which means, well, he's part right, part wrong, and provide thorough evidence to back up your response.
And no one's ever told that, and it's the case. You know, it's like you have 4 kids, say, well, that's plenty of responsibility. You're going to have meaning. It's going to be rough, you know, because it's complicated. You have a complicated job, and you try to help the careers of the people around you. You try to solve tough problems and aid suffering and do all of that. It's like, it's weight, it's responsibility, but there's glory in it. There's real glory in it. There's deep meaning in it. And young people are starving for that because no one ever tells them that. It's like, you're way more than you think. Man, stand up. Do something difficult. Do something difficult and heroic, right? Burst out of your bonds. It's like, that's a good message. It's a necessary message because we have to be more than we are, because if we aren't, we're not going to survive.
Now, we've connected this to the BLM piece that we read, but I want you to connect this last part. What he says about burst out of your bonds, do something heroic, give your life meaning. And I want you to thoroughly answer that question with regard to, how do you see this in the Odyssey? How do you see this in Penelope? How do you see it in Telemachus? How do you see this in Odysseus? And how do you see this or not see this in the suitors? So that's going to be quite a thorough response, but I've got some good news for you. I had an article here about the modern campus not being able to comprehend evil. And boy, it's something I'd really like to discuss with you, maybe on the next Friday lesson. So instead of having you read this extra article, I want you to go full send on these questions here today. And then go full send and cook up some serious doughs by following the specifications for the Rogerian essay that's due Monday at the beginning of class. Remember, there's a little bit of pressure on, okay, with this Rogerian essay, but it's okay. You can handle it. You're AP and you're elite. Okay, you're going to be sharing your essay with 5 people, and when we get in class Monday and possibly Tuesday, we're going to be voting on who we hear. I'd like to be able to do it all Monday. I'd like to be able to have somebody, put the Chromebook up there on the podium and have somebody read their speech, and then you boo or hiss them or throw things at them, or if you agree with them, you pound the desk. Okay. So answer the questions in this video thoroughly. I will be typing up an answer document shortly and getting that out to you by 8:00 today. You have all day to do this. But thoroughly connect this to the Black Lives Matter document that we read, and the last question that I had on there, connect that to the Odyssey. You guys have a good day. If you need any extra time, let me know, but don't get yourself so backed up that you can't get the rest of your stuff done for the weekend. Have a good one.